Well, having finished the book of Jonah in Hebrew, someone suggested, hey, Ken, why don't you do Ruth next? I don't know whether I'll stick with Ruth because I kind of want to finish an Aramaic project I started a couple years ago. But why not? Today's Tuesday, it's Hebrew Day. And so let's look at Ruth in the book of Hebrew, shall we? Let's start with verse 1. Ruth 1:1. In Hebrew. Can you pronounce that? Here's how I would pronounce it. Vayehi bimei shafot ha shofatim. All right. Well, what does that mean? Well, if you don't know Hebrew, dig up my video on the letters. Or if this turns into a Udemy course, watch the video on the letters. But anyway, let me assume you don't know anything and that maybe you know everything. So Vayehi means and it was. It's from a verb, haya, which is a third hey verb. The third letter is a hey in the vocabulary form. And the hey goes away in this form, which used to be called a converted imperfect or a vav consecutive, although it's the very first word of the book, so it's not consecutive after something. But it's really what we might call a preterite. It's a simple past tense. The telltale sign of this preterite is the vav patak doubling. There's an obscure rule that says that when you have a doubled letter with a vocal schwa under it, which this is a vocal schwa, va, ya, the doubling can go away. And so that's what's happened here. So this is a base stem, a call stem, Q-A-L, or a G stem, Grundstamm, thank you Germans, from haya. So it's a call, third masculine singular from haya, imperfect tense, converted imperfect. So the yod, it's converted imperfect. The yod is the indicator that it's imperfect, and the yod is the indicator that it's third masculine singular. And that's where the it comes from. And it was, although really it's masculine, so, and he was, but anyway, that doesn't make good English. All right, so, and it was. Vayehi is so frequently used in narratives in the Old Testament that it's something you should just tuck away. And it was, bimei shafot. So, ba, as you may know, is the word in. And so that's in. And then yom is the word for day, used in Genesis, you know, the first day and so forth. Sere yod is a masculine plural construct ending. In the days of. The of comes from this sere yod. And days, plural, comes from the sere yod. In the days of. In the days of Shafot. Well, this form here, and again, I'm sorry, I hope you've take my Jonah Udemy course. If you don't know Hebrew, that's where you should start. If you don't know Hebrew, take my Jonah course on Udemy. But this is called an infinitive construct. The pattern of an infinitive construct is a shava under the first letter and a holum after the second letter, shafot. In the days of to judge, which doesn't make good English, but it's perfectly good Hebrew. And it was in the days of to judge, the judging, in the days of the judge's judging, which is good Hebrew, not good English, but it's good Hebrew. So this word here is a participle, So hey patak doubling is the. It's the word for the. It's the definite article. The hirik yod mem is the masculine plural absolute ending. So if seri yod is masculine plural construct, days of, hirik yod mem is masculine plural bleh, the normal state. The judging, and then we have to think of ones. In the days of the judges works fine for this. In the days of the judges judging. Okay. So this is taking place in the period of the book of Judges, is what this is telling us. Very interesting. So in the days of the judges judging, and again, I've already done these. It's called parsing when you tells the part. When you tells the parts, that's parsing. Shafot, it's a call infinitive construct or a G infinitive construct from shafat, and then ha shofatim is a call participle, masculine plural absolute from shafat. By the way, how do you know if that's a vocal schwa or a silent schwa? Well, it's following a holum. So this is a shin or a sheen. See, and so that is a holum. And so this holum is always a long vowel. And so when you have a shava after a long vowel, it's going to be a vocal schwa. How do you know that? Because when it's a silent schwa, closes a syllable. This syllable is closed. And a closed syllable usually has a short vowel in it. And so if a schwa follows a long vowel, it's a vocal schwa. Okay, so let's keep going. This verse keeps going. Can you pronounce this line here? Here's how I would pronounce it. Vayihi ra'av ba'aretz vayelek ish mibeit lechem. Mibeit lechem. Okay, what is that? Beit lechem. Guesses? Beit lechem? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, so vayihi we just had, it's a call converted imperfect, third masculine singular from haya. And it was, well, what was? A famine was. Ra'av. A famine was ba'aretz, in the land. So aretz here is land, and it's normally eretz, a segalit, but this is the, I think you would say this is the pausal form. Don't ask me why I'm thinking that. But anyway, the kamatz here is compensatory lengthening for the article. So normally you would have a hey patak doubling, but when you have a preposition on the front, the hey gets popped out. So the hey goes away. And then it tried to double the ayin, but the ayin said, I'm a guttural. I don't do doubling. It's not in my contract. Tried to shoot a dagesh in there, and bang, it lengthened the patak to a kamatz. Not really. So that's compensatory lengthening, in the land. And a famine was in the land. All right? And he went. So this is from halak. And halak behaves like a first yod for whatever reason in this converted imperfect form. And what do first yods do? A lot of first yods, what do they do in this situation? The yod gets chopped off. The yod goes away. So that's a strange thing about halak, the word for walk. It's a strange thing it did. But we have vav patak doubling, so it's converted imperfect, a preterite. The yod tells me it's imperfect, tells me it's third masculine singular, and he went, or he walked. And he, you're generally going to walk if you're going. And he went, a ish, a man, and a man went, a man walked. Man walking. He walked mebeit. Well, mem, Hiric doubling is min, the preposition from. And nun assimilates when no vowel separates. And so we have from beit, from the house of lechem, from the house of bread. This is construct. But what is the house of bread? It's a very nice house. Our house is a very, very, very bread house. What is this? It's Bethlehem, Beit Lechem, the house of bread, Bethlehem. So this guy is from Bethlehem, and because of the famine, he walks from the house of bread, Mebeit Lechem. Where does he go? Well, first of all, this Beit Lechem is in Yehuda. It's in Judah. See if we can pronounce the rest. Lagur Bisday Moav. Moav, anyone? Moab. This is a naughty. What are you doing, man? Why are you going to Moab? That's not your people. Haven't you read Genesis? But anyway, well, there's bread there. So he walks from Bethlehem in Judah. Sorry, not to Judah. So in Judah, not to Judah. So Bethlehem in Judah. And they walked lagur, to sojourn. So there's an infinitive absolute, I think. Bishdei, in the fields of Moab, in the fields of Moab. So ba is in, and then Shaddai, that's Seriod again, masculine plural construct, fields of or lands of Moab. Final line, Hu va'ishto ushanei baniv. So remember in Hebrew, who is he? So this is he, va'ishto, he and his wife, who is Naomi, I believe. So he and his wife, so va is and, isha, so if ish is man, isha is woman, and the he becomes a tav when you put a pronominal suffix on it. This is a possessive suffix, his, holem vav, and his wife, he and his wife, shanei, and two of his sons. So shani is two, and then the serio, two of. Ben is son, Benjamin, son of the left hand. Ben, the yod tells us it's plural, baniv, and then that's again the same vav that means his sons. He and two of his sons. So, to bring it on down, what do we got? The verse says, I'm having trouble going back to the beginning. Ruth 1:1. And it happened, and it came to pass in the days of the judges judging, and it was a famine in the land. A famine was in the land. And a man walked from the house of bread from Bethlehem in Judah to sojourn in the fields of Moab, he and his wife and two of his sons.